My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services. My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
Shalom. All praises, all power, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakaha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who teach well and rule well, who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations and blessings to the Akyam, the fellow laborers, the hopeful elect, pushing this truth at risk of their own lives through the four corners of the earth. To the Akwath listening, learning, sincerity, and the truth in the sound of Shalom. It's your brother Shema from the GMS Toronto camp here in Toronto, here with another lesson. All right, we'll get right into it. All right, so we saw that brief soundbite. The so-called royal making an announcement, right, of voluntary digital ID. It says here, King Charles announces voluntary digital ID in King's speech. During the state of opening of Parliament, King Charles delivered the government's agenda, including the Digital Access to Services Bill for a free voluntary digital ID on users' phones. Built on the government UK systems, it lets people control shared data for tasks like right-to-work checks, aiming to cut 1.8 billion in fraud, 1.8 billion pounds in fraud, and ease access without passports. Figures like Nigel Farage and Suella Braverman slammed it as undemocratic, echoing past scrapped ID schemes, while Labour ties it to service reforms amid online backlash. Right? That's another step forward into all roads lead to the MOTB. Right? However this plays out, right? It's a launching platform, a launching pad, a segue into the New World Order. Right? The Revelation 13 verse 16 on down. Right? These elites have an agenda. Right? I wanted to open with a scripture because, you know, Esau's a serpent. Right? Esau's gonna gift wrap whatever it is he's bringing in the guise of convenience, a solution, right? Proverbs 23 and this is the same beast, right? The same serpent, right? Proverbs 23 and 1, and it reads, NLT, while dining with a ruler, pay attention to what is put before you. KJV, when thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee. Right? And these rulers, right, puppet leaders, right? He's a puppet leader. He answers to the elites, right? But he's a ruler, right? He's presenting you with something, right? Proverbs 23 and 1, when thou sittest to eat with a ruler, consider diligently what is before thee, right? Consider diligently. And only the elect are going to have discernment to see that this is a road, this is a segue, this is an avenue, this is a pathway towards the NWO agenda, towards the MOTB, right? And they're going to bring it shroud it, they're going to gift wrap it with the message of convenience. It's safe. It eliminates fraud, right? You saw the key words there. 1.18 billion pounds a year in fraud, right? So only the elect are going to have the eye salve to see what it is this ruler is putting before you. Verse 2, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. NLT. If you are a big eater, put a knife to your throat, right? If you are a slave to your lusts, your appetites, the cares of this world, put a knife to your throat. You might as well off yourself, right? Like a fat man who can't control his appetite, and you put cake before him, right? He can't help it. He wants that cake. Proverbs 23:2 once again. And put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite, right? And Jake loves to eat, man. In a spiritual sense, you know, you can't, if you can't unattach yourself from the cares of this world, good luck, right? 2/3 of the people are going to line up for the MOTB, the Revelation 13 verse 16 on down, the microchip. Proverbs 23 and 22, Proverbs 23:3, be not desirous of his dainties, right? Don't fiend for his perks, his presents, his gifts, right? His benefits. For they are deceitful meat. NLT. Don't desire all the delicacies, for he might be trying to trick you, right? And all the world gonna fall for this, for the MOTB, the Revelation 13 verse 16 on down. The whole world's gonna fall for it. The elect are gonna be the only ones with eye salve. The elect are not gonna bow to the image of Baal. The elect are gonna refuse his image and his mark. Right? It says that in Revelation 20. Let's get it real quick. Revelation 20:4, and it reads, and I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. Right? And this is a vision of John the Revelator, seeing the elect overcome. Right? And what's the reward? Rulership. Right? The elect, the 144,000, the body of believers, the helps. Right? Right? But under Yahushua, King David, under King David, the 12, and then the first fruits, the 144,000. Right? Dominion, rulership given to the elect. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of Yahweh Shai, right? Because some of the men of the Lord are going to be martyrs, right? And which had not worshipped the beast, right? The beast, NATO, the EU, neither his image, right? The beast, NATO, the EU, America the Great, neither his image, the system, right? Birth from Rome, neither had received his mark, the charagma, right, upon their foreheads or in their hands, right, the microchip, right, it's a physical mark, right, so the elect are going to refuse this thing, right, and what's the reward? And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach, Yahushai, 1,000 years, right, that's that first 1,000 years in the kingdom, right, when all the nations are going to be in hardcore, when Esau, Edom is going to be in hardcore subjection, and these other nations are going to be in subjection, right? And after that 1,000 years expires, right? Esau, Edom is eradicated, Obadiah 1:18, and the other nations return to their lands, because that first 1,000 years is going to be a reset, reset of the world, where the other nations have to learn the ways of Jacob, Isaiah chapter 2, right? Right? Be under the law, statute. They're going to learn the law, statute, and commandments, and have to honor it. Right? Then the other nation go into their nation, their lands, right? And know how to till the land, honor the land Sabbath, right? Just be profitable, right? Contributing to the profitability of the earth, right? The earth will be governed in righteousness under Yahweh Shemashai, right? But that first 1,000 years is a reset, the true reset, right? So the elect are not gonna bow to the image of Baal. The elect are not gonna be deceived. They're not going to be deceived, right? It says in Revelation 3. Let's get that real quick, right? But 2/3 they're gonna be tricked. They're gonna be deceived, right? Deceitful meat. Revelation 3. And the elect are going to receive the victory. Revelation 3 and 10. Red letter, our Lord said this. Revelation 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, right? Patience meaning to suffer, right? The elect on this side. I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, right? The hour of temptation, right? The sea hip being presented to the world, the sea hip being mandated worldwide, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth, right? The whole world is going to be faced with the sea hip, right? All roads lead to the MOTB, right? This digital ID is just a segue. It's just a launching platform. It's just a preparation, right? But there's going to be some pushback. There's already pushback. They're signing petitions saying, "Oh no, say no to the digital ID now." There's going to be pushback. But that's Egyptian against Egyptian. That's the fulfilled prophecy, right? But the fact that the beast is speaking, right? Because the British Empire is just one of the 7 heads spoken about in Revelation 13. Let's get that real quick. Revelation 13 and 1. And it reads, and this is a vision of John the Revelator. And it reads, and I stood upon the sand of the sea. Right, the sea is symbolic of the people. Right, you read Revelation 17 and is it 12? Revelation 17 and 15. And it reads, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth, the whore being America, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues, right? The waters, the sea is peoples, multitudes, nations and tongue that the whore sits on. The whore being who? America. America has dominion. Back in Revelation 13 and 1. It reads, and I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. This beast that came out of these peoples, nations, and tongues is the Roman Empire, having 7 heads and 10 horns, right? And the 7 heads is the 7 kingdoms, 7 rulerships of Esau, Edom. Germania Minor, Germania Major, the Spanish, the French, the British, the Romans, and the Greeks. And 10 horns upon his head, and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy, right? And the 10 horns is the Germanic tribes, right? The names of blasphemy, right? Because he blasphemed the Most High Yahweh Shemashai. That's Esau, man. Right? But this beast in Revelation 13:1 is the Roman Empire. Verse 2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, right? The beast, the Roman Empire, the leopard, Alexander the Creep, right? It tells you now in Revelation 7. Revelation 7. Revelation 7 and 6. Salakia, Daniel 7 and 6. Daniel 7:6. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, that's Alexander, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl, right? Because he was swift with his takeover of the known world at that time, right? The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it, right? The 4 heads is symbolic of his 4 generals, right? The 4 generals which were under Alexander. When he passed, Alexander's kingdom, dominion, was split up amongst his 4 generals. The 4 generals were Seleucid, Cassandra, Ptolemy, and Lashamias, right? Those were his 4 generals. So the leopard is symbolic of Alexander, which was the beginning of Edomite supremacy under the Greeks, right? Back in Revelation 13:2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, Alexander, and his feet, right? So Alexander being the beginning, that was the beginning of Edomite supremacy. And his feet were as the feet of a bear, the feet being the ending of Edomite supremacy. Right? And the bear being Russia, because Russia is going to be the one to right, get hooks in his jaws and fire, lead the charge against America. And his mouth as the mouth of a lion, right? The lion is the British Empire. And the dragon, right? The Roman Empire, which is synonymous with Satan, gave him his power and his seat and great authority, right? How was that power and seat and great authority enforced? His sword, right? Remember, Rome was the first to implement iron within their military, right? It says in Daniel 7. It says in Daniel 7. We'll go back there. Daniel 7. Daniel 7:7. After this I saw in the night visions, right? This is a vision of Daniel. And behold, a 4th beast, right? This is who came after the Greeks, the Romans. Dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, right? The Romans. And it had great iron teeth, right? They forged iron, right? They were the first to forge iron and use it within their military, right? And what did it do? It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns, right? The Roman Empire stomped out everything, stomped out all their nations, rulerships, right? It says here, great iron teeth is military, and they're iron, right? They're iron weapons, right? It says here, diverse from all the beasts. Diverse meaning different. Different how? All previous kingdoms was a monarchy, right? The Roman Empire, they introduced the Senates, Congress, right? They had 2 parties, plebeians and the patricians, right? They voted Caesars in. They had an inauguration of Caesars today. They vote in presidents. They have an inauguration of the president, right? America the Great, Babylon the Great, birth from Rome, right? Isaiah 13, Revelation 13:3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, right? And that's when Jake started to come into power. Jake Caesars, right? Septimius Severus, the five good emperors. That's when Jake started to come into power. The Byzantines. And his deadly wound was healed, right? Constantine, and then afterwards, right? The pushing of Christianity throughout the earth, right? The Romans coming back into power, coming up on the Renaissance, right? That's the renewal, right? But that was a 1,000-year period. The Jakes, it didn't happen overnight. There was infighting, there was fighting, right? But the Byzantines came in. That was the wounded to death, right? And the healing didn't complete until the Renaissance came in, right? But it was a long period of time, 1,000 years. It says here, and all the world wandered after the beast. And right today, right? Nothing. America is the pinnacle. Right? The whole world marvels after the beast. Today, the beast is NATO, the EU, and America. Let's jump down to Revelation 13. Revelation 13 and 13 it reads, "And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men." Right now, was the fat man and little boy, the atomic bomb. America did that. Verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. Right, the image of the beast being the system of Rome, right, the ancient Roman Empire, right, so the power, right, America the Great, Babylon the Great, birth from Rome, right, the system of Rome is pushed on the earth. Right, verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, right, the system of Rome. Right, America the Great has given life to the system of Rome. How do we see that today? His calendar, right, the Roman calendar, the days of the week, right, his architecture throughout the world. These buildings look like ancient Rome, man. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, right, and is speaking. Right, look, their judicial system, they use Latin when you're in a court of law. And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right, we're going to come to that time where it's going to be like, get down or lie down. That's going to be the persecution of the men of the Lord, the prophets, demonization of the truth, right. Listen, they're going to come like a lamb at first, but they're speaking as a dragon. Right? They're going to say, oh, this is good. Take the C-hip, is great. It eliminates fraud. It's convenient. But it's going to get to the point where either you're down or you're not. And if you're not, they will throw you in a camp, throw you in a prison cell, delete you. Listen, scripture say he spoke two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. It's going to be get down or lie down. There's going to be no negotiating. Esau's going to show his horns. 16th verse, here's the point. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Right, the mark being the microchip. Right, mark, the Greek word is charagma. Right, it's physical, not spiritual. It's not an embargo. It's not sleeping with a white woman. It's not the image of Cesare Borgia. Right? It's a physical mark. A microchip inserted in your hand or your forehead. And that no man might buy or sell. Right? You're not going to be able to make any transactions, save he that had the mark. Right? And this digital ID is just an intro, a segue, a warm-up. Right? The C-hip is going to be get down or lie down. Or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, right? His barcode. Right? But yeah, that's it on that, man. Pretty edified. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahshai Ba'Shem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and great Muslims who teach you and rule well. Shalom to the elect. On to the next.